Rogan Report podcast. Check it out.
All things Joe Rogan by day. Rogan Report podcast by night. All day. All night. Half hour to an hour-ish episodes once a week.
The Rogan Report podcast.
Welcome to it, Shane. Episode 39 here in the basement.
Yeah, man. It's been a longer minute than I intended.
Yeah, kind of a few longer minutes in between episodes than we had initially intended when we wrote that intro and said we'd be doing this once a week.
Yeah.
That's okay, I think.
Yeah, I think
People need some time to digest all of our great wisdom.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Joe jokes this week. Let's go through the table of contest here. I'm excited to hear your Joe joke.
Don't be too excited.
I have been excited since last episode. ROTT, that's right off the topic. We'll talk about the election results, of course. Greta Thunberg was just here in Alberta. How to have helpful conversations. My new teeter board that I just got that you pussed out on.
Yep.
The JRE 1363, Dakota Meyer. 1364, Brand Ribband. 1366, Richard Dawkins. 1368, Ed Snowden. And I'm also a big fan of the new season of Big Mouth that I've been watching. So
Nice.
maybe we could touch on that.
Absolutely.
I also just saw Joker. Did you see Joker?
Not yet.
Not yet. You thought you might be able to get it in before the show here.
It's you know how fucking expensive it is to take four of us to a movie?
Oh, it's probably $100.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
$100?
$100.
I usually steal movies, bro. I'm going to be honest.
It's
I
probably-
don't go to them that
You're
often.
going to jail now.
Well, I don't think so.
unfortunately. Well, allegedly.
Is it more dangerous now to say that out loud?
I don't know.
Well, fuck them.
But yeah, we'll see, I guess. Hopefully I don't go to jail by association.
Yeah, well,
Right off the topic, Libs win a minority government.
yeah.
Election's over. Spoilers if you had taped it or something and you were trying to wait to watch it tonight or something.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't know, but Libs won. I feel like that's a better result than the cons.
Yeah.
Personally,
For sure.
And I'm happy that it's a minority government because they had a majority previously,
Mhm.
and so they lost a little bit of power. And being a minority government means that they'll have to give more credence to all the other parties.
Yeah.
So more input, maybe a more balanced perspective,
Yeah.
and more balanced decision making.
Yeah. They'll have to
So-
show up a little bit fucking tighter.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I saw this meme that it was super hilarious. It was like a picture of the Dead Sea, and it's like, Dead Sea, the saltiest place on Earth,
Yeah.
next to Alberta.
Yeah, I can
People
see that.
are salty.
Salty.
Yeah.
How about let's not separate and become the Republic of
Yeah,
Western Canada?
obviously, that
You
is
fucking
short-sighted.
breathing fucks. Like what?
Oh, boy.
I mean, there's so many reasons that's not a good idea.
I know. I've seen a few projections. Okay, here's what would happen. We buy the Crown land for $1 trillion, go into ridiculous debt, don't have any way to get our oil. You think we're going to be able to negotiate better with Canada and the United States just being our own sovereign little tiny fucked up nation?
Yeah.
No, it's going to be ridiculous. Oil's already on the way out. Once that's gone, it's like, what do we have? Tourism, people going to Banff?
You know what that scarily could turn into is the U.S.'s excuse to just come in and take it.
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, look, these Canadian terrorists over here trying to separate.
Yeah, totally.
Let us liberate you.
Yeah, then we become Alberta just becomes a part of the state.
Exactly, which it fucking wants to be anyway. I feel like
a lot of people would like that.
Yeah.
And we're not that different. People always, I find Canadians are way too. They think that we're so much different from the States when in reality, it's like Canada is very similar to the States in culture and in the problems that we have here, the problems they have down there.
I mean, especially since the internet, but even way before that, pop culture has been around.
Yeah.
Forever.
Absolutely.
My whole life, your whole life.
So, I don't know. Everyone's freaking out. And what I'm seeing is these they're like, I'm not racist, but I really hate that there's immigrants moving here, and I don't think they should be able to have any jobs or any lives in our country. And I'm like,
no, not
whoa.
racist at all. You're right.
They're like,
That's
they
a
don't
balanced
fucking
opinion.
speak our language.
Totally.
They don't speak our native tongue. I'm like, you don't speak the native tongue, dummy.
Yeah, you fuck.
But I don't know how to have conversations with these people in a way that's helpful, and that's what I'd love to do. I'd love to be able to. Somebody posted a post today that was it was from truthpost.com or something like that, so already it's going to be blatant ridiculousness. And it was something about how illegal migrants were given voting cards in Canada, and how many of them voted for Trudeau since we gave them $1 million once they got to the border and free housing and free food and free everything. And of course they voted for Trudeau because he's the one that gave them these they're illegal migrants that we gave all this stuff to.
Yeah, we pass out millies to everybody crossing the border illegally.
That is so ridiculous.
Every American would just move to Canada and set up shop if that was how things worked.
But there's people that are like, yeah, no, that's definitely what happened.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to get the votes,
rough.
so we let them in illegally and bought them off.
Yeah, that's
no,
rough.
That's not what happened. And you just all you have to do is click on the page and read through the page to know that it's just absolute ridiculousness.
Yeah,
you can't tell the difference between parody and reality anymore. Like I'm like, this could be parody, but it's not. It's somebody pretending to be reality. It's fake news.
Yeah, there was even I saw the Suncor CEO or something was like speaking out about how divided it is and how people aren't listening to scientists.
It's not good.
He's like, no, I'm an oil guy, but scientists are scientists.
Yeah.
What do you think the oil thing runs from? Like, there's a lot of science involved here.
Yeah.
The thing runs on science.
Yeah, absolutely. Like an engine is here because an inventor who was a scientist invented it.
You can't have the scientist get you to fucking point B and then from there on be like, nope, that's not real anymore.
Yeah.
From here on out, this is,
What I have seen also, though, is some conservatives who say, look, climate change is real. I do believe in climate change, and also I believe in maintaining our oil and gas industry as we transition to greener energy. Like, having a strong economy is a big advantage in being able to move towards these greener things and transition. And we can't do it in a way like I've heard people say, and I don't think this is the actual NDP platform, but I've heard people say that the NDP just want to shut it off all in one fell swoop, just make like oil drilling illegal. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's what they want to do. One, but even if they did want to do that, I wouldn't want to do that, and a lot of NDP supporters wouldn't want that.
Wasn't Rachel Notley actually working to?
Notley was very pro oil.
Yeah,
she was trying. She understood that it's a part of our economy and a big part of our economy in Alberta, and she wanted Alberta to be successful, and she wanted revenues from that.
Yeah.
And what I think, and I've said this a bunch of times, is that I don't want people that are making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. I don't necessarily want them to be taxed anymore. Once you're making $500,000 a year, okay, maybe you pay a little bit more taxes.
Yeah.
You're making $1 million a year, maybe you pay a little bit more taxes than the 500,000 guy. And then the people that are making billions at the absolute top, I feel like they should pay by far the most taxes.
For sure.
And so, but they should still be able to make money. I don't want people to not be incentivized to make money. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So maybe they make hundreds of millions instead of billions, and that extra tax revenue goes to pay for programs and funds things in Alberta that make Alberta a better place, like the arts, like after school programs for kids, better teachers, better hospitals, better schools. I want kids to grow up with the best opportunities available, all kinds of opportunities to try whatever they want to try, and then hopefully that minimizes the amount of kids that grow up to be shitty adults that mug me in an alley someday.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Let the opportunities be there.
Yeah. But that's not the way most conservatives think. They're like, no, everyone has to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and do their own thing. And fuck you if you have emotional problems or your parents were killed when you were a child. Fuck you.
That's just like saying you want your kids to suffer the same exact fate you suffered and grow up exactly the same and pull yourself up the exact same way, the
ridiculous
crazy.
thing is that a lot of these people didn't pull themselves up by anything.
No.
They were born into already wealthy families, and not to say that they didn't have struggles. Everyone has struggles, but it's like they should own that they were privileged to be born into a first world situation with parents that had enough money to send them to school, and then they had opportunities.
I even consider myself that. I'm not anywhere close to wealthy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm clothed, I'm fed. I'm
Yeah.
Kids are in school. It's all good.
So yeah, it's been a frustrating post-election glow
and pre too. So much mudslinging. Did you watch the debate?
Yeah, I did.
I watched the whole goddamn thing, and one thing I'm taking away from this: what the fuck is the Bloc Québécois, and how the hell is that guy even running for prime minister?
Yeah.
What? You're not even saying you're in Canada. You're literally saying Quebec's separate, but you want to be in charge of Canada too? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I don't really Well, it's not like they had even a remote chance of becoming
No.
prime minister.
But didn't they also beat the NDP in
But
votes?
they did beat the NDP in seats
What?
because they have so much more people in Quebec than
Yeah.
NDP supporters across Canada, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a weird thing. They're the separatist movement, and they're saying that they were like, absolutely no fucking way is there going to be a pipeline coming through Quebec. That was like, I would think, the main stance that they have as it affects the rest of Western Canada.
Man, I drove through Quebec, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's maybe one of the most beautiful provinces to drive through,
Nice.
like in a straight line. Like I've only seen it from the road. You know what I mean? But
I've flown to Montreal and I spent some
Beautiful.
time there, but I haven't seen anything else in Quebec.
I dipped into Montreal and I dipped into Quebec City both, but not far, just to the Timmies, because I don't speak French.
Fair enough.
So-
Well, Montreal is pretty Anglo, actually.
Yeah, I actually sent my kids in most
There
places.
was almost nowhere that I couldn't find. I didn't find anywhere that no one would speak English to me.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went that dealt with any like public service person, they all spoke English.
The road signs, a lot of things are different in Quebec.
Mhm.
All the road signs they don't mean the same thing as everywhere else. Like,
Mhm.
there's different colors, there's different shapes.
Yeah, that's
And-
kind of weird.
It is totally weird. I mean, I screwed up a few times
Uh-oh.
driving through, but yeah, I mean, it's a different place. But to think of that separating, that's gross to me.
Doesn't make any sense.
And it's also right in the middle of our country, so
Yeah. Yeah, no.
you have to drive through it. So what then?
I
You
don't
know?
know. I guess we're used to, like, Alaska should be Canada, but we're
Yeah.
kind of used to that not being Canada. Maybe we'd get used to it, and people that are born into Quebec just being a part of, or their own thing,
Yeah.
or a part of something else. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
be a part of France.
Are there even connections?
I don't think they would they want that if they seceded from Canada to like become actual France?
I don't know. Is it good to be part of France?
I don't know.
I actually know nothing about the
They-
government or anything about France, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think it would be great.
I'd love to visit, but
Me too.
I feel like there'd be way less English speaking people than Quebec.
Yeah. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, what else do we want to talk about?
I mean,
You got something for right
It's-
off the topic?
not really. I mean, it's just been the election. That's been kind of everything.
Yeah.
I've had people like attacking and defending weird posts I put up. It's been eventful, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
you see a lot of true colors.
Yeah.
But are they true colors?
I
Like,
don't know. I can't tell.
you know,
It's such a complicated mess
right
right now, and yeah, I'm like trying to figure out how to talk to people in a way that's productive, in a way that I don't want to just ignore things that I see that I know are ridiculous. I want to say something, but
Yeah.
I want to say something in a way that it like might cause the person to think, oh yeah, you know what, this is ridiculous. Maybe not in a way that just has everyone putting up walls and immediately blocking me or unfriending me.
Well, that's what kind of pissed me off. One morning I woke up and I won't even say his name, but a guy I've known since like elementary is saying, if you're not voting conservative, unfriend me.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't even call him out publicly, but I wrote something like, fuck, if you're unfriending people because how they vote, fuck off, basically, you know? Beat it yourself.
Yeah.
Unfriend yourself, asshole. See ya.
I believe "beat it, nerd" was
That's
your,
what it was, yeah.
was
yeah.
your exact words.
Fucking- and man, did it spark some people.
Yeah, I got in on that conversation a little bit.
I have this one friend who's a girlfriend of one of my good buddies, and she's really hard in the liberals.
I remember I've argued with her.
You've
Some-
argued too,
it was
and you guys
some,
do not have opposing views.
No, I
just
know,
just to
that's the-
throw that out there,
Yeah.
you guys are on the same team.
Slightly opposing because she
Slightly,
believes
yeah.
a little bit more in animal protection and not
Totally.
eating them.
But as a generality,
Yeah,
You guys
she
are-
probably voted NDP.
you guys, no, I think she's hard liberal.
Oh, is she hard liberal?
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know. I haven't talked to her about it. It's been a long time, so.
Well, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's another of our old friends who really just kind of says dumbass shit and makes conservatives look really stupid all the time.
Yeah.
We'll just say it starts with a K.
Okay.
Fucking kiss if you're listening, dickhead. He goes at. I think we're joking sometimes, and sometimes I think we're not joking because he gets aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the. And I don't know. I don't think you were gonna reach that guy.
no. Although,
any
what's
kind
funny
of-
though is if I saw him in person, we'd probably be cool.
Of course.
Because that's what's weird about all this. Like, I'm still going to be friends with my friends. They can have whatever opinion they want,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's blatantly, I'm a racist. I think we should eat babies. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Women should get in the kitchen. Like, that kind of stuff like that I don't agree with. But you know,
Well, another one of my friends actually just recently posted. He saw Greta Thunberg was just in Edmonton here for
there's
for a
another
big
hot button.
rally, and they painted this nice mural of her, and like overnight it was immediately vandalized with a bunch of slurs and like this is oil country. And one of my friends shared a post that one of my ex-friends, I guess I could say,
Yeah.
shared a picture of the defacing saying somebody draw a giant dick on her, and then he was like, hey, fuck you, that's not cool. And then oh fuck it, I'll just say his name's Jeff Ryder. He's a banjo player, super ass
Nice.
backwards kid. And he had like blocked me and deleted me as a friend on Facebook like a few years ago because he was posting some ignorant shit, and I was like, no, I don't think that's correct, man, like check your sources. And then he was like, fuck you, and I was like, well, fuck you. And then he deleted and blocked my friend Ethan, who was calling him out on this ignorant shit.
Yeah.
And then he made this post. You know what? I'm going to get it out and read it here. Okay, so I pulled it up here on my Facebook. So Ethan was like, hey, fuck you. Don't say that about Greta Thunberg, you dick. And then he made this separate post after it says this. I'll read it verbatim. Okay, so it's become clear that I have some retards on here that disapprove of the stuff I post, so here is how I will deal with your bullshit. Anybody who has got a problem with me, 1, bashing the fuck out of Greta Thunberg, and 2, making myself very clear that I support the Wexit movement can either 1, fuck off and mind your own business, best option in brackets, 2, be a fucking keyboard warrior and bitch and complain, in which case I will delete and block your sorry ass, or 3, arrange a face-to-face and talk with myself or others who support the same shit I do. However, if you choose this option, be warned that at this point, we will probably be done talking with our mouths and be looking for a more permanent option to silence you. Worst option, in brackets.
Permanent option.
Yeah, right.
Are you saying you're gonna kill me,
He's
bro?
gonna kill people because they don't agree with him politically. Essentially,
That sounds like what is it? The RWC? Is that what it'd be? The Republic of Western Canada, the RWC, right?
yeah.
That would be their motto.
BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba.
Fuck y'all's opinions. We're gonna kill you.
Yeah,
That's what it would be.
and when I think about it in my head, I'm just flabbergasted that there are people that think this way. But after this last election cycle, I'm realizing that it's way more people that think this way than I thought.
Yeah.
And even the people that are more moderate, that don't think exactly like this, are so much closer to this than they are to like my experience and how I think and how I live.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a pretty shocking one.
I'm finding it weird that it's kind of awkward to admit how I voted because people will ask you.
That's true. Yeah.
And I feel it's kind of a weird question to ask someone, and unless you're very comfortable with that person, But
Yeah.
I'll answer truthfully, and
Yeah.
you can watch their look on their face go. "Ugh."
Yeah, it opens up.
What is this creature?
It opens up a conversation, and I'm happy to answer with who I voted for as well. But I do feel like if somebody asks me that, and then I start, I'll say, "Oh, well, I voted NDP, and this is what I think," and I lay out kind of my reasons. Generally, in person, that'll go well. But I have now in my head that there's people out there that want to silence me permanently if I start talking about this stuff. So it's like, it's a little bit nervous. Like as soon as somebody asks me, it's not just totally free and clear to just say what I think. I got to put my guard up and assess, okay, who is this person? How is this going to go? Yeah. And I don't know, like people at work and stuff that ask, I'm like, okay, how is this going to affect my career now?
Right.
If I'm talking about this with people, above me or even adjacent to me in my career.
And it totally could and would.
Yeah.
They can't admit that's why, but your relationships are what they are, right?
Yeah.
But
Totally.
I'm not going to hide shit. I voted Liberal.
All right.
Come at me, bro.
Fuck you, Shane. Fucking bastard. I'm going to silence you permanently. Just turning down your mic here. Let's turn this
You get
up.
quarter fucking volume
Goodbye,
for the
Shane.
remaining of this episode.
You are done. Okay, no, you're back.
Okay. Well,
Oh, I actually just turned down the headphones.
and then
Turned them down.
it comes.
That's the wrong
That's kind
dial.
of fun. That's even better, actually. So, here's the thing. you'd come back to this thing where you're either voting for one or the other. And if you vote for the other, it's like you're kind of giving the other a vote.
Yeah.
That old thing. And I hate to play into that, but I really didn't think the NDP was going to win.
No, and they weren't even close.
And I knew that. And so I'm like, why throw my vote that way when it probably just makes the Conservatives' number higher? And I really don't want them to win.
Because it still shows that 60% of the population is not voted against conservative values.
Yeah.
If you look at like a left and right and take all the parties and split them into.
I know. Yeah.
So.
And that said, do you think that it's a fair win?
Yeah.
Or should the Conservatives be in power right now?
Well, you know what? I just read this post that explains it really well. If you think about it like a Stanley Cup World Series of any kind of sports playoffs scenario. So say you have a 7-game series, and say in the first 3 games, one team wins 10-0.
Yeah.
And then say in the next 4 games, the other team, opposite team, wins 1-0. Now one team has scored 30 goals in the playoffs, but only won 3 games.
Yeah.
Think of those as ridings. And then the other team has won 4 games, but only by 1 goal. So they only scored 4 goals, but they won 4 games. And those 4 games are 4 ridings. That's a bigger representation of the overall match.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a way to look at it.
Yeah. A lot of people are, that's why they're salty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was excited about the idea of a coalition government. I thought that could have been a really good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like the green, the orange, and the red should all be working together. I feel like they're all kind of on the same team.
Yeah.
And maybe Justin Trudeau needs a little bit of influence from a little bit more of a green perspective. Even more, I guess. I don't know. I mean, he fights pretty hard for climate change, at least on the surface.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I don't know.
I don't know.
we need reform. I hope that he goes back to the paint and now back to the drawing board and tries to look at some of the things he wasn't able to do in his last term, electoral reform.
And people are even more divided now than they were then.
Yeah, like we need to figure out a way to fix this.
Yeah.
I don't know what that way is.
I mean,
let's talk about Joe Rogan, Shane. It's been 22 minutes of
local
election
politics.
Yeah, I'm sure our listeners are loving it though and just jerking off to every word.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, JRE1363 Dakota Meyer. Did you listen to this episode?
I did.
Good.
Yep.
So he was a retired soldier, a Marine, and current author. He wrote a book about his experience in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And he's a big proponent of like how to deal with PTSD and uses cannabis, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I went and sought out, because he was on Jocko's podcast, Jocko Willink, famous Rogan affiliate.
Yep.
And he was on Jocko's podcast, and it's like a 4.5-hour podcast. And they go through, Jocko basically reads like short sections of his book, and then they talk about it. And the book is basically just detailing the story of this battle of Ganjagal in Afghanistan, where things went just as bad as they could possibly go, essentially.
Yeah.
For this battalion. And it's a harrowing tale.
Totally.
And did you listen to that at all by chance?
I feel like I got some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lately I've been driving and listening, so some of them are kind of getting in, kind of not.
Fair enough.
I do remember what you're talking about though.
Yeah. And he had said like he had some recommendations before the mission that he's like, hey, we should be doing this, and he was just ignored from leadership above, and that's really the main reason why things went so badly. If they would have been more prepared and taken more steps to make it safe, it wouldn't have been nearly what it was. But spoiler alert, he basically lost the entire team. It was like 8 Marines and like 8 Afghan soldiers that fought, because it's what a misconception that a lot of people, when they think about the war in Afghanistan, they think it's the United States fighting against Afghanistan.
Right.
And that's not the case. It's
against
United States and Afghanistan working together to fight against Al Qaeda or the Taliban. I think it's the Taliban in Afghanistan. It was Al Qaeda in Iraq. But it's
even called the war on Afghanistan, like a lot.
Yeah, and that's a war in Afghanistan.
But it's so easy to confuse that.
I know,
because it was the war on Iraq.
Yeah, it's
which
not.
It really wasn't either.
No,
honestly, it was against Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, the regime.
As are all wars, if you really look at it. It's not against any country.
Yeah, but the majority of like the Afghanistan government was on the same side as the U.S. and they were working together. So there's Afghan soldiers that are fighting right alongside with American soldiers in that war.
Yeah.
And in this particular instance, it was like 8 Marines and maybe 10 Afghan soldiers. I forget what the name for them was exactly, but they lost everyone. Basically, him and I think one other guy got out of it, and just brutal.
Can't even imagine.
I can't even do justice to it to tell the story. I would recommend go listen to it's Jocko episode 115, Jocko podcast, I believe it's called, and Dakota Meyer. Man, that was quite the tale.
Yeah, Jocko's definitely an inspirational dude. I've actually heard him on. I've never even listened to his podcast, but I've heard him on lots of other podcasts.
Right.
Like,
and Joe talks about him all the
circles.
time.
Yeah.
How he posts a picture of his watch at 4:30 every morning, and I'm up, and he goes and he works out hard.
Or that other David Goggins fella.
Yeah, Goggins too.
Yeah, he's fucking sweet too.
Yeah. Those dudes would kick my ass, that's for sure.
Oh my god.
So anyways, that was 1363. 1364, Brian Redban, you said you wanted to kind of talk about the OG of JRE.
Man, without Brian Redban, there isn't podcasting the way we listen to it. Is that whole crew?
Yeah, he's one of the...
He really is the podfather.
The podfather.
as they call him.
Yeah.
And I actually was listening... So I listened to that episode, but he was also on Ari Shafir's Skeptic Tank.
Yeah.
And they went deep into the... Right back to the beginning, how it was with Joe. Like, he basically prompted Joe into doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And so many other people. He was making money off the T-shirts in the beginning, and he literally took every dollar from that and built Death Squad Studios.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he just helped so many people along the way. Tom and Christine, your mom's house, they started at Death Squad Studios.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it was just such an interesting podcast to listen, and
that's cool. Maybe I'll go seek that one out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Ari Shafir puts out some good pods, man.
Yeah, I've listened to a few. Our friend Kathleen McGee was on a fantastic episode.
Yeah,
of the Skeptic Tank.
He's a little harsh to her.
Yeah,
I was a little like, there was a moment in that one where I was like, oh man, I feel a little justice warrior-ish right now. I
don't remember that being the case, but I've
listened. They're tight though, so like,
yeah, it was 20 years
or
ago.
Or tight-ish.
Feels like to me that I listened to that.
Long time, yeah. Shout out to Kathleen McGee.
They had some, yeah. They had some tech talk, of course, talking about Apple phones ruling all. Best keyboard in the business. I use Android at work.
Best keyboard on the phone. Joe always bitch about that.
Obviously the laptops.
The non-tactile laptop.
Yeah, less travel. I have one of the, I think it's like a 2012 MacBook Pro, and it still has the travel on the keys. So,
have you ever used a gaming keyboard? Like, those things are clicky as fuck. You can't even look at it without it clicking. Like, it's even if you just like touch it a little bit, it's making all kinds of clicky sounds.
I'm not super into that.
Kids
I
are
don't
crazy.
like
that's
too
a weird
much
thing.
Travel. I like a little bit, a millimeter. I don't like the ones where it's like a centimeter of travel to push the key down. I end up not pushing the key all the way down, and then I miss letters.
I'd give myself carpal tunnel with that or something,
You'd think so.
Yeah.
1366, Richard Dawkins. This has been a long-awaited guest.
Yeah.
Dawkins, pretty famous evolutionary biologist, author. He wrote The God Delusion, The Selfish Gene.
I listened to The God Delusion.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good book?
Yeah, really good.
Did it make you atheist?
2013. I mean, it definitely helped. I was well on my path already to being an atheist at that point, but yeah, it helped.
I haven't read it, but it's on my list of books I would like to one day read. I don't know. I don't feel like I would. Like, I'm not an atheist. I consider myself an agnostic theist.
Right, yeah. Atheist for sure isn't the right word for me either. But
so, yeah, I do believe there's something beyond. I think it's interesting. They talked about how he'd never done any psychedelics. Mm-hmm. And having those experiences definitely makes you more open to, okay, maybe there is something else. Like, even if you can't put your finger on what it is and you believe that there's been a bunch of tyranny and bullshit with a lot of different religions, having those experiences just opens you up to believing that there is something more.
For sure. And to me, intellectually, if you haven't had those experiences, you haven't experienced everything that there is.
You don't know the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
That's what I often say to people.
Things that I blundered into as a young teenager.
Yeah.
You still don't know in your however old he is. I mean,
and it's not just that too. Like I've had experiences out in nature and like in the mountains. I feel like, or at the ocean, when you just have things that like humble you, and you're like,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that there's something greater, but I just think we don't have the language to describe it. You know, if I say God, like there's so many definitions. That's going to mean something completely different to everyone who hears the word. But as soon as I say the word God, you do get some kind of image in your head of what that means. And, you know, I have the loosest definition of God, you know, like nature. It could just, you know, be the driving force that makes life exist and makes, you know, just the laws of nature is God.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, things with like the ocean, like the mountains, it just sort of makes you feel like connected. It's like I hadn't seen the ocean like since I was a child until like 2015 when we went to Vancouver Island.
Right.
And I was totally humbled by the ocean, man.
It's an experience to be up to it close, and it's so vast. You know, it makes you feel so small, but yes, also connected. It's like
I was almost grumpy about the vacation because I just didn't give a fuck about Vancouver Island. It just didn't. I was like, whatever, it's over there, it's part of Canada, it's whatever. And then I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I need to live there, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I have relatives in Victoria area.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been out there, like ever since I was a kid, they lived there. So I've been out there 30, 40 times.
Yeah. But I wonder, like, how quick do you get used to having the ocean out your back door? Or if you ever do. Like, but I guess if you're born there, that's life. But
you do in some ways, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those things where it's better not to live there just so it stays special.
Same way you get used to being landlocked like we are.
Yeah. So, what else with Richard Dawkins? He coined the term meme. Did you know that?
Yeah.
In his original book there, The Selfish Gene, meme being an idea that sticks in your head and not just the picture with the words
People
on
have
it.
totally warped what meme means.
Yeah.
Like, most people think of meme as, like, internet pics.
Yeah.
With silly language in it.
Yeah. Which, you know, that is putting an idea out there that's so a meme is correct for that, but initially that wasn't the intent of the word.
No, I can't see Richard Dawkins creating a meme on the internet.
I wonder if he has ever.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask him that.
I hope he has.
I liked, there was a quote that he said, so like, anyone who practices religion is an atheist to all the other gods but their God.
That's right.
So he's just an atheist one God further.
Yeah. That's for me one of the major things that kind of shook me away from any religion.
Yeah. It's like, you don't believe in Odin? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you
totally.
believe in your God but not these other gods?
Or how about the Native Americans?
Yeah.
Who probably had
you don't believe in the eagle god?
18,000 different fucking iterations. And then, you know, the Aztecs.
Yeah.
Or the South Africans.
The cat.
Everybody.
The cat gods of
fucking
Egypt.
Crazy. It's nonsense.
So, fascinating dude. And has got that British accent that I love listening to.
Yeah. He has one of those really musical British accents.
Yeah.
Like, that's
soothing.
smooth. It's nice to listen to, yeah.
1368, Ed Snowden.
Yep.
Busted the government for their mass surveillance conspiracies and then got forced out on the lam. Kind of bad audio on this. So he was one of, they said, only 2 or 3, now 3 remote podcasts where they had someone like essentially Skype in.
There was a delay from Snowden replying to Joe's
There was a
questions.
delay, and while he was talking, there was like a little distortion, a little kind of like hum.
What's going on
and
in
then
his
as soon as
background.
everyone would stop talking, it would like kind of like go to silence, and then that's when I'd really notice the hum, and I was like,
it's pretty jarring.
Like this is not good audio, but fascinating story.
So riveted by that podcast.
Yeah, totally.
And I actually knew almost that entire story. But
did you watch the movie Snowden?
No, I haven't.
With
the good that's way too sexy to be Snowden.
I forget who it is.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah,
no, that's wrong, but it's close.
I feel like it's Edward Furlong. I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah, I've actually been accused of looking like Edward Snowden. One trucker one time said that to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I was trying to, when he was talking about how, because they talked a little bit about him getting recognized when he goes into like computer stores. He tends to not be recognized.
The nerds recognize him.
But in computer stores, they were like, hey.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Oh man, it's so weird that they even talk about trying him to me. Like,
Yeah.
that he would have to face a trial to come back. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. He's a hero.
In 100 years, he's going to be regarded as a hero, 100%.
That definitely.
He should already
is.
be.
Yeah. A lot of
He's
people
a hero
do,
to most people, yeah.
but
To our freedoms and our privacy. Not that he changed anything, but if anything, it just gave him a green light to just do it blatantly.
yeah.
And everybody gives their... That's the thing. Everyone gives it to them. Every time you agree to everything that you have to do on your phone, every app, literally everything, you agree to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, here, have it. I want to have Facebook.
I do.
Facebook's rad.
I'm
I
not
want to be on there.
Yeah, and even if I did have someone like go through that entire legal mumbo jumbo and explain it all to me, and I spent the whole time reading it myself and fully understood all of those things, I'm still gonna click accept the.
I just think there's
terms
no point in
and conditions.
fighting it.
Yeah, I want
We're getting
Google Maps
integrated. It's
to
how it's
work
going to
well.
be. I want to see Google Maps in my eyeball.
Yeah,
This way over
totally.
or something, some
Yeah.
sort of augmented thing is going to be next.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a first adopter of that,
No.
but maybe like third or fourth gen.
But think about every Black Mirror episode. Someone's got their shit implanted in their eyeball.
Yeah, totally.
And that's something we can probably already do.
It would be amazing to have, like, especially for me, because I'm sure I've talked about it on the podcast. I have a terrible memory and I have to like write things down in order to remember to do things.
Yeah.
And it would be so cool to have all of the world's information just accessible via the internet implanted into your head. Like if you could just instantly look up anything from the internet in your head, that would be amazing. And that is where we're going towards.
And we could so easily be putting an advertisement for Alpha Brain in right here. So just get at us, guys. Get at us.
Yeah, absolutely. At that point, it kind of levels a lot of playing fields, though, right? Like people that have really, really good memories, they're people that are typically successful in business and all kinds of different things. Like that's one of the key factors in intelligence is memory.
That's kind of interesting, though, because when you level the playing field, it really comes down to a matter of willpower.
Mm-hmm.
You really see people's personalities and their inner traits.
How do you use that?
Yeah.
That knowledge.
Because, I mean, you can give one guy $1 million and another guy $1 million. One guy's going to make it the rest of his life and turn that into $1 billion. The next guy in 6 months will owe $1 million and be a crackhead.
Totally.
It's like that shit happens. So, yeah. I agree, though. It would be interesting to see the playing field leveled.
I wonder if that'll be in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
You think it will be?
I think it will be. And I think that I'm going to merge with the machines like Ray Kurzweil.
Oh, yeah?
About.
Download your consciousness into a computer?
But if I start to really break down, why not?
You might be cheating yourself out of an afterlife,
Out of the pearly gates?
Yeah. What if that?
Or you could, you might not be getting to do the resurrection.
And a trillion years of living in a computer as just a consciousness.
How twisted and warped do you become?
You might get pretty fucked up.
Kind of like a vampire at that point.
I don't know.
It's weird.
And I mean, you might not have the experience might be so dissimilar from
you're no
this
longer
experience
a human
that like you might just go absolutely crazy. It might be an eternity of torture.
Yeah,
it might be hell.
Yeah,
actual hell.
It could be.
I don't know, man. I'd be so worried about that. Presumably, we're interacting still with these people who are downloaded into computers. They're still interacting and they're saying stuff like, "Oh no, it's awesome in here, man. You guys should totally come do it."
Yeah.
But I feel like I still wouldn't trust that. I'd be like, "Oh man, I don't know."
Or even something weirder, like maybe your soul kind of splits, and your real soul does go on to heaven, and this weird fractured, fucked up thing is what's in the computer, and that's going to spell out humanity's doom. Something weird like that.
I wonder.
Yeah. That could be a neat movie, actually. They should already make movies about this.
There probably already is one.
Yeah.
There's so many movies now.
Yeah.
Well, Shane, that's basically it for Joe Rogan stuff. Is there UFC? What did we
We didn't, I mean...
We were going to make predictions. Did we make predictions in the last episode? I kind of don't remember.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah, I feel like we did.
What were we predicting? What was that UFC?
Did that already come to pass?
Oh, yeah, totally.
No.
There's been 2 lower profile cards since that. There's been 2 fight nights.
243?
Yeah, who was it, though?
I forget.
My phone's, like, over there.
All right, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Yes, so 243 did happen, and as I think, both predicted, the main fight, Adesanya took it to Whitaker, knocked him out in the second round.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched it yet. You watched it, though, and you say it was a great fight.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
So, listeners, go check that out. I'm going to go check that out, and we'll catch up on that together. The next big one coming up is 244.
Yeah, but I would say, though, Reubs, when you go watch that 243, don't skip right to the fight at Adesanya and
watch the rest of them.
Whitaker. Watch the walkouts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Good.
all I'll say about it.
Good advice. I will watch them.
Okay.
Yeah. So Masvidal and Diaz. You think Masvidal?
Man, I'm all up on Street Jesus' dick lately. I'm not gonna lie. I like fucking Masvidal. He's great.
Looked great for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt. It wasn't really tested in that last fight, but
that's true.
Well,
no, hasn't he fought since that one?
No, he fought before that, and he won in a pretty tough fight against what's his name? The other, let me see here if I can.
Wonder Boy. He beat Wonder Boy. But I don't know if that was the more recent one though.
Till.
That's right.
He looked sensational against Till.
He fucked Till up.
Yeah, and so that one he was a bit more of a competition than Askren.
Yeah. I have been looking back on some of Masvidal's history. There's like this whole diary of a street fighter thing on YouTube.
Okay.
I think he's putting it out himself, but it shows his old backyard fights with Kimbo Slice and shit. He was young.
I'll go look that up.
It's pretty interesting.
And you think him against Nate Diaz? I don't know, man. I was kind of
take some hits though.
Yeah, and Nate would be a bloody mess by the end of it for sure. But I feel like he's also a great boxer. He's slick with his boxing. He doesn't throw hard. But if he can get Masvidal a little bit worn out and then get him to the ground, Nate strangles Masvidal every single time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
He's not going to flying knee off the break Nate Diaz though.
No,
that's not happening.
There's no way. No way.
Oh, it's going to be a great fight.
I'm excited for that.
That's one of the most exciting fights. How about that BMF belt? That's crazy. They're actually making that a belt.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thanks so much for listening.
Go to Joe Jokes.
Oh, Joe Jokes.
I wrote the goddamn thing.
I almost forgot about the Joe Jokes. I wrote one too. So
I'm a little embarrassed to say it because it's not going to be.
We'll
funny.
finish with Joe Jokes. I think Joe Jokes are a good way to finish a podcast.
Absolutely.
So yeah, give me your Joe Joke. Hit me.
Okay. What do you get when you cross Sweaty Men, Psychedelic Journeys, and the Evolution of Wolves? You get the JRE. And you get plebs like us that cover the JRE, and plebs like you that listen to us cover the JRE.
All right, nice tags. I like the I like the ending.
Thanks.
Not funny, but true.
Yeah.
Maybe it's funny because it's true.
We'll get to funny. At least I'm true.
Yeah, so I'll give you mine. Which is not funny either. I don't know why I'm making it out like I've written this brilliant genius, but it's pretty hack.
We'll judge it. Let's have it.
Yeah, so why did Joe Rogan attack the rabbi?
I give up.
He wanted to practice jiu-jitsu.
That's pretty good. That one's actually punny. Well, I like that one.
And so he, of course, used an arm triangle with that other triangle that points the opposite way.
Yeah.
It was an arm Star of David.
Nice.
That was the tag I thought. Right.
Nice.
Jiu-jitsu is admittedly hacky. Like, guaranteed, there's other people that have thought that jiu-jitsu and Jew, it's the same.
I'm sure they have,
word.
But I feel like it's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah, and maybe it's the first time someone's used it in the Joe Rogan context.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anyone's ever thought of arm Star of David before.
That one has to be new.
I think with joke writing, one of the things is the first thing that pops into your head is often like a hacky thing and that you should just throw away. And then when you try to go deeper and think, okay, now like what is the actual, and try to find the joke, that's when you get something. Because the big thing with comedy is surprise. And, you know, why did Joe Rogan attack the rabbi? Like there's a jiu-jitsu, just your mind is like already ahead of me. Yeah. Often for people, you know, you didn't see it coming.
I didn't know.
But some people did.
I smoked before. What do you want?
I don't know. So yeah, like jiu-jitsu, it's super common. It's a bit hacky, I think, but
it's great.
Then I was trying to think to take it further and to make it not hacky. It was something that no one would have thought of. And arm triangle with the other little triangle going the opposite way. The arm Star of David.
I was delivering at the Cross Cancer Institute when I thought of that one today.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Right on.
Yep.
Well, I like it. It's there's the Joe jokes.
Next time will be better. I mean, at least this time I brought one.
Yeah, we'll keep.
Last
we'll
time
keep
I
working
couldn't
on
even
it.
get the brain to come up with something.
I've got another one, but I'm gonna keep trying to write another one because I don't. Yeah, I want to keep trying to work on them and to write more comedy. I think
that would help. Hey, if I wrote comedy, also,
yeah, write other
and not
comedy.
Try to just
and then
think
try
of
to
Joe
think
Rogan
of,
jokes because that's actually for me. I got so mind blocked. The more I tried to think Joe Rogan joke, fuck nothing, literally nothing is coming to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
cool. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you for listening. It's been a lot of fun. And go to our website, click on the links for Amazon, buy your shit that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyone else we need to thank or talk about?
Let's all be friends, guys.
Yeah.
I know some conservative people that aren't complete pieces of shit.
Me too.
Be like those guys.
Yeah. Follow us on social media. Send us emails. Ask us questions. Maybe we talk about it on the show.
Yeah, man. Have a good one, man.
See ya.
Hey there, Joe Rogan, super fan. This podcast is for you, my man. Or woman, or non-binary. Our recaps will be legendary. The Rogan Report Podcast. Come on, you'll have a blast at the Rogan Report Podcast.